Here is a timing belt and water pump walkthrough. There appears to be no complete walkthroughs for the Pajero Evolution on YouTube or anything, so figured I'll document it. Whoa. Timing belt kits are available from Laszlo Walter in the group, or I think Luso Off-Road out there in the west of America. They're gonna get some in stock. All right, back to the video. It's actually pretty good. This is 10 years old and about 100,000 kilometers. The bearings are what's going bad, or the pulleys that spin around. I'm gonna start off, pop this guy off, take the battery out. I spilled about a gallon of Marvel Mystery Oil into this engine bay, so it's a bit dirty. Pop that out, drain radiator, pop radiator out. Engine covers off, 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts right there. That's already off. Air intakes out, the airbox was here, hose was here. Very easy to pop off. Batteries out. Looking into the radiator, it seems like the drain is down there, but I don't think it has a tap, so I will probably just get radiator fluid everywhere. So drain that, pop those hoses off, pop this off. We'll see. This is me from the future. The drain is there. That hose goes down and out. Don't remove that all the way because it'll just pour out. That's what I did. It came out faster, but it made a mess. If you just loosen it a bit, it'll come out that tube and be very easy to drain. There it is. Got a bucket to catch a majority of the fluid coming out. So far, so good. Coolant's drained, and I got this top hose off. Now I'm going to pop this cover off, get the bottom hose off, and then pop radiator out. I think a lot of people try to avoid getting the radiator out. Since I've got a manual, I don't have to worry about the oil lines. I say just get that thing out of there. You need as much space as you can get with this. Fan shroud is off. It's only 4 bolts. You'll know it when you see it. Now I'm going to pop that guy off, unbolt this guy, boop, bring it up, out, easy. Radiator's out. Going over here, we've got 2 studs holding the radiator on this side, 2 bolts that hold it on that side. So pop it off this side first, then pop it off that side, and once you pop that last one off, it'll want to drop down like that. You just go lift it, pull it up and out. Very easy. Give you an idea of how open and relatively straightforward this is. Without the radiator, you can see everything, so I reckon that's gonna pop off soon. Well, next, and then all the belts off, and then boop, and then boop, and then boop. Take the those things, I don't know what they're called, alternator, power steering, compressor, pop all that off, and honestly, it's a straightforward job. I'm filming most of it so far, but should be pretty easy. All right, so we've got 4 bolts to pop this fan and clutch fan off. Is that too stiff? I think that's good. Yeah, should be fine. That's gonna come off, then we're gonna get to all the belts, and then I'm gonna do a side quest with this compressor here, figure out what's wrong with the clutch pack on that, and yep. Fan off. I'm gonna now pop this belt off, maybe take that belt off if I'm feeling it, and then pop this guy off. I don't know if this has to come off or not. We'll see. Is that it for? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Remove these 2 10s for the shroud, and then I think these are 14s. Pop those off, and pop that off, and it all pops off. I think. I haven't done it yet. I'll let you know when I finish. This goes there. Pop that guy off. What else? There's a bolt that holds these lines in. You're going to need to pop them out. I left it there for now. I'm probably going to forget it. Yeah. Very easy. Got the alternator belt off. I'll show you guys where the adjustment is. You loosen that, and then the adjustment's below down there. So now this guy should pop off, right? There we go. I'll throw that away somewhere. Boop. Ouch. And then, yeah, now take alternator off, and then I'll figure out what else I gotta do from there. Alternator, looks like there's a bolt here. There's another bolt back there. I don't know if I have to hold both of them down. We'll see. Another bolt here, and then let's see what's going on. Whoa. Okay. So another bolt there, and then I can't really see any of that. Are there any plugs? And then I gotta get that guy off. All right, so alternator's out. That one bolt down there, and then another bolt up here. These clips, let me zoom in. That plug and that ground are a lot easier to take off when the alternator is out and floating around. So unbolt those two first, that one and that one, and then get that one and that one. Up next, I think AC. I'm replacing my compressor either way, so that's gonna pop off, then the AC bracket, and then all this is gonna come off. Yay. Taking the condenser out, it's 4 bolts, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then that moves out, and then you got to take this bracket off separately after. I'm swapping the compressor out for a new one either way, so I think I don't know if I'm gonna pop it off from here or unbolt it and pop it off from here, but I'm gonna pop it off and hopefully remove this entire unit, or if I'm not removing it for now, I'll take it and hang it up with a zip tie here. So we'll see. Alternator is unbolted. Here's the old compressor. You can see where those 4 bolts are. Boop, boop, boop. And I ended up just removing it from here because I'm going to replace the whole unit anyways. I'm not afraid of losing any refrigerant, so pop the entire thing off. You're probably not going to do that. It's bad. Now we just got to pop this guy off. Looks like there's 1 bolt here, and there should be 3 bolts behind there, and that'll be easy enough. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I'll show you after. For the alternator bracket, you've got 1 bolt holding it on here behind the compressor, so you got to take it around, blah blah blah. You got 1 here, 1 here, and then you got 1 at the top there holding it on, and then 1 at the bottom there holding it on. And you take that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out, and then this guy pops off. The kit doesn't come with one of these. I wish it did. This one, you know, I feel like it gets its wear. All right, now for the massive bracket that's holding all this stuff on. I got to zip off. I think I'll zip off this one. That bolt that holds it to the intake manifold. But what I got to do is I got to zip off all these 14 mils. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. So it looks like 6 on each side if you split it in half. We'll see if there's more. I'll show if there's more later. There may be, there may not be. We'll see. All right, it was just that bolt up top holding on to the intake manifold, then these 3 14s here, and then 3 14s here. And that's it. That's off. Now I'm gonna pop this cover off. We got 1, 2. Is there another one down here? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bolts at least. We'll see if there's more. I'll show you. Oh, is there? Maybe there's some here. Yeah, there's 1 there. I'll show you. All right, that covers off. It was all the same bolts I showed earlier. I don't know, a little bit of a valve cover weep, but a lot of coolant got in there, so I'm not really sure. But you can tell that guy's ready to go. That guy's ready to go. I don't know if you can see here. That's wibbling, wobbling, so that bearing's probably going out. Yeah, so it's time to do it. Let's see. Next step is to set this to top dead center and then remove it. Hopefully not. I can set it, adjust it later, but you know what I'm talking about. Crank bolt and pulley is out. Next is to pop that cover off, take this belt off, and then it'll be time to swap the whatever that is. Before I pop the belt off, I'm gonna put it at top dead center one last time, just so I got a good starting point. And then I'm gonna mark, I'm gonna time it with the timing marks, but just in case, I'm gonna make marks for counting teeth on each of one of these things. So boom, boom, mark there, and then mark there at the bottom. That way, I can transfer those marks to the new belt, and just in case, I got a fail safe for tooth count. All right, I got these marks here. These aren't on the timing marks, they're just miscellaneous, but left bank goes in the middle notch over there. And then the normal timing marks are there. I don't really care much about them, but you can see they're right on line. Well, close enough. These guys, ooh, can you see that? There you go. Close enough. Those are at the top. So right bank are at the top of the ridge. These are at the valleys, peaks. And then this guy, since that doesn't, ignore all the oil, that's normal. There's nothing wrong with this engine. That one's right there where it's about to take off. But, crap. That might not be the best mark ever. I'll touch that up. Alright, then I'm going to pop this guy off. Alright, loosen this guy up. No, everything's loose. That fully shot out, so it still had some life in it. Alright, I popped it off. These stayed in position. This guy stayed in position. This one sprung over that way. I did forget about these sensors here. Looks like there's one there that I got to unbolt and one down there that I got to unbolt. So I will unbolt those and then pull this timing belt out. Easy peasy. Alright, so I got these crank sensors blah 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 out, and I fully removed it. So 2 bolts up here that hold in one of the crank position sensors. I think that's what it is. There's a spacer in here. I'll show you that later. So 2 bolts go in there, and then 2 bolts hold that one in. There's no spacer there. And then there's a bracket that goes from here to that bolt. That's a 14, I think. So there's a bracket that holds the wire there. So you got to pop that off, and that goes up and over, remove the belt. And now it's time for me to, well, not time, I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. This has been a 4-day long thing because got work. You know, I can't work on cars all day. Yeah, I got this guy loose. You know, that's going to get replaced. That's going to get replaced. That tensioner's going to get replaced. Water pump is for tomorrow. I don't know if just this has to come off or this entire thing. It looks like I can get away with just that. I think I can get away with just this. We're going to see. Yeah. But that should be easy enough. I'll see you do it to, yeah. Alright, it is the next morning. I realized to get this off, I need to pop that guy. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Hey! Alright, it is the next morning. I realized I need to pop this guy off to get that guy off. So I'm just going to take the tensioner thingy, that thingy, and that thingy off right now. Alright, those bits are off. The tensioner pulley, and that pulley over there. Idler, I think that's what it's called. Alright, here's the dilemma. We've got an O-ring behind here that goes onto a pipe, and an O-ring there. The kit I bought didn't come with either. I purchased, well, it came with one of them, the one on the inside here, and it's wrong, and I purchased that one. Do I risk opening it and possibly causing a leak by work? It's not leaking now, you know. So I think for now I'm just gonna pop this guy off, that one right there, and see what's underneath, see if it's an easy swap. Alright, I popped that guy off. Luckily I caught it all in my drain pan. Yeah, it's all these bolts, some are 10, or yeah, some are 10, some are 12, and then you get a screwdriver in there and twist, and it should very easily pop off. But there's this guy. Oh, look at that. Looks brand new. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, so that water pump's popped off. I cleaned the surface. I will not be removing this rear housing and this entire assembly to get these O-rings. Since I didn't remove this rear housing, I believe the O-rings are fine. I know that they've been replaced recently. I'm not going to touch those. To pop this assembly off, you leave it all together. There's no need to split. I don't think there's a need to split this rear part with this front part. But I think it would just be, I don't know if these bolts, I don't know. You just take a bunch of bolts off. I think you take this, you unmount it from here, and you remove those, that plug, these plugs, that pipe, unbolt from here, and then either remove these 2 bolts. I'm not sure if they're mounted onto the engine. I don't think they are. Nah, I don't know. I think they Yeah, I think you should be good. I don't think you need to remove that. And then it all comes off relatively easily. But I'm not going to be touching those. I won't be breaking that seal. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Your kit should include a stud to screw into this. We only need to put one in for the Pajero Evo. I think some cars need both, but ours just uses a bolt at the top. So I'm going to tighten that guy down, and then it's the reassembly time. I put the gasket on and used these 10 mils. These are where the 10 mils are. I used those to locate it, clean the bolts before putting them on. So now I'm going to continue to feed in I think these are 12 or 14, I don't really know. I can't count. But I'm going to put those in, and then I'm going to torque them to spec. I'll tell you the torque. Here are the old water pump bolts, the 12 millimeters or 14. I think they're 12. One of them's shorter than the other, so pay attention to that, because I didn't, and I'll figure this out later. All right, so all those are snug. I would recommend, before doing this job, order these 12 millimeter bolts. They do get a bit corroded. Mine weren't too bad. I put some corrosion block on the threads. But order these 12 millimeter bolts. I think there's 5 of them, because these guys get wet and they get corroded. But either way, here's what we're going to do. These are all going to go to 23 Newton meters. So I'm going to... All right, those are down to 23 Newton meters. These 10 mils, hand tighten these 10 millimeters. Don't go too crazy with them. I removed and cleaned and replaced the bolt for this timing tensioner pulley bracket piece. This is going to be torqued down to 44 Newton meters. 23 Newton meters for this tensioner, and then 44. I think I just said that. 23, 44. Yep. This guy is 44 Newton meters as well. Don't forget that spacer in the back. It's a metal spacer. 44 Newton meters. We're going to keep this guy hand tight for now, and he's out of the way. Looking good. Next, I'm going to transfer all the paint marks on my old timing belt to the new timing belt. Now that's how you're supposed to do it. Go along like that. It is time to time. I used a 17 millimeter to line these guys back up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the belt on, and I'm going to use paper clips to hold it in. So I'm going to do there, and then I'm going to do there, and then I'm going to go up, do there, paper clip, go down here. The owner's manual wants you to move it back a notch, because when you tension it, it'll apparently stretch this side, because they don't think you can stretch this side enough. I'm very confident I'm strong enough to stretch this side. All I need to stretch it, because I'm very strong. And I've got that notch down here. So we'll see if I'm strong enough or not. I'm fairly certain I'm strong enough. I've got a timing belt just floating in. I knocked both of these out of alignment by accident. It was very scary. But right now I'm going to go and put in these crank sensors, because they kind of go in between. So that shouldn't be too bad. Top one with the spacer goes in like this. This bracket bolts in. That bolt is 11 Newton meters. And then the wire rides inside of it. All the way down to these, which are also 8.8 Newton meters. Bolt that in. It should stay in there. You know, but easy enough. You know, I could have done this after doing the timing. I don't really know what the crap's going on. To begin timing, what I'm going to do is, well, I already did this. I used 2/17 to line up these timing marks. Close enough. And then I use zip ties and paper clips to hold it in. Then what I'm going to do is continue to use those 2/17, hold them, and then stretch the belt over to this side. And then clip this side in. So that's how it's done in the service manual. Hold this side with the 2/17, stretch it over, and then clip these sides really quick. Yep. All right, I'm not strong enough to pull it all the way around. I'm always off by one tooth. So I've secured these tightly. And then I'm going to use a wrench to bring this one back one and then bring it forward. Like bring it back, put the belt in, bring it forward, clip it. Easy peasy. That did not work. I'm going to try something else. Well, I'm going to try that again. Just, yeah. All right, so that side is lined up with my marks and the timing marks. These are lined up with my marks. It's a little bit off. It moved just a little bit. That should be fine. It's going to straighten itself out once we get it tensioned. Actually, that's basically perfect. Here's the deal. I'm not strong enough to pull this and tension it, so my mark on the crank pulley thing, so those marks match. I'm not strong enough to pull it, so I'm just going to do... Oh, I forgot to tighten that. Good thing I noticed that. Forgot to tighten that too. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna do what the owner's manual says and pull this guy back a bit and then put this on, and then when I tension it, it all should move back to where it should be. We're gonna see. I have moved this guy back one notch so that I can swing this over and get it timed. All right, so I moved it back one and I was able to get that mark lined up so it's back a tooth. I don't know if you can see that. Ignore all the oil. You keep this loose so you can get it over. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to do a preemptive tensioning of this to see if everything lines up, all the timing marks line up. So once I do that, this should tension everything. That should line up on the timing mark. These should line up on the timing marks. And this should be, if I lock this, that's what happens. We'll see. All right, I'm going to tighten that up and then tighten these bolts over there for those cam angle sensors. So I'm using this special tool to line this up, and then I tension it. I don't know. All right, gave that a little bit of a twist to line that up. Can you see it? All right, I'm gonna do 2 full rotations clockwise to verify that my timing marks line up afterwards. This guy is stretched a pretty good amount. I'm gonna stretch this out a bit more and then do that. This is not stretched enough. All right, I'll be right back. All right, 2 rotations and all the marks line up. Not the same marks as on the belt, but that's expected. All the marks line up, all the marks line up, and all the marks line up. So I'm gonna torque this guy down for reals, and yeah, that's gonna be all she wrote. This is going to be using that special tool. We're gonna torque it down to 9.8 Newton meters. And then I'm going to torque check all these other bolts because I don't want to mess it up. And then there's that guy. Once we're all done with that, you know, because don't worry about it. Once we get that tightened, we're gonna do that. When I went to torque this guy down to spec, or tension it to spec, the piece I got off Amazon broke before it hit 9.8 Newton meters. So I recommend buying this OEM. What I did instead was I got some pliers and ended up putting them in and cranking it over. There's an issue if you don't pre-tension this enough. If you set it one tooth back, and if you align it with your previous timing, if you don't tension it enough, it's not going to twist this guy back to top dead center. It's a little bit off here. That's normal. It's good, but yeah, make sure you get that torqued enough for it to twist this guy back to lined up, and it should be good. I already gave it 2 spins. We're all good. That's torqued down to 44 Newton meters. 44 Newton meters. Everything's torqued down, which is all nice. All right, took that pin out. All the torques are checked. Time to put this cover on and that cover on. Well, that cover on, then this cover on. Yep, I'll be right there. This cover's on. These bolts, they're not really specified the torque, so just have at them. All right, that guy down in there is going to get cranked to 181 Newton meters. 181 Newton meters. I got the harmonic balancer on torqued, got that cover on, got that cover on, and got that cover on. So should be. Now I've got to prepare the bracket over there, and yep. All right, so we're replacing the alternator bearing pulley thing and whatever this one is, power steering. The kit, the Laz Evo GmbH shop kit does not come with a AC one. I'd want that. I guess, I don't know. I don't see why we're replacing these and not that one. But that's what's happening. So I'm going to zip these off and swap them over, and I'll give the torque for those when I'm torquing them down. All right, that's gross. I'm going to clean that. Keep in mind there's washers here on the end of that. That's going to drop when you unzip it. That's why I wanted to do it off. But this one might not need to be cleaned. Either way, there's washers. Make sure to not forget those washers. New pulleys are on as they should be, at least. This one's a little bit wobbly. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but yep, here's the trick. We're going to set it in. The one thing to notice is, remember, we took that off the intake manifold right here. So I'm going to go back here. And did I leave the bolt in there? Yes, I did. So I'm going to want to undo that and move these wires out of the way before bringing this over and setting it down. So just bring it over, set it down onto that. Easy. That's all in there. The trick I use to getting it in right is to just focus on that. Hold it by this side, or hold it from up here and hold it from like that. If you get this part lined up, you can use that to shimmy it into its right position. It'll sit in there nice. And now I'm going to torque all these 14 millimeters to get this bracket on. Those are going to get torqued down to 44 Newton meters for those big 14s holding this bracket on. This bottom one right here goes to 77 Newton meters for some reason. I don't know why they have it like that, but it doesn't hurt. All right, next we're going to be putting that AC bracket on. If you remember, it's 2 bolts up here and then 3 bolts on the back. Shouldn't be too difficult. AC bracket on. I forgot to mark 44 pound-feet for those bolts. I probably can't reach the inside ones. I can, because I'm pretty cool. Next is going to be the alternator. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to put it into place and plug it in first. Plug it in and then screw that ground on. And then we're going to... Oh, I almost dropped my phone, no case. Then we're going to bolt it up to this big guy. And then we're going to swing it in and bolt it down there. So should be pretty easy. Whoa. 23 foot-pounds for the bottom one, 49, not foot-pounds, 23 Newton meters for the bottom one, 49 for the top one. And that got all bolted on nice. All right, so you torque these down to, I don't really know because it doesn't say. I'm going to assume 23. There's also one back there. Don't forget to put these retaining bolts here. And clip this guy back in, and then you got wires. Also, I need to bolt that. That one, I know for sure this one's 23 Newton meters, so I got to go and tighten that one up. Yep. I bolted that guy. I do need to put the cover back on for here. It goes like that, but I'm going to do that after I get the belt on, just so it's easier. And that's what I'm going to finish for today. I'm waiting on the new AC compressor, and once I get that in, I'm going to clean it all up and then bun everything back, and of course I will show that. I've got the inside of the bay all cleaned up, and now I got all these plastics cleaned because they're about to go in, and all that's left is the AC compressor that should be coming in today. New AC compressor is here. I'm going to swap over this top piece onto this guy, and then that's it. Pop it back in. Bolts. Compressor's on. Time for that pulley to go on, and belts. Belts on. They said like 4 to 5 millimeters. I don't know what a millimeter is, so I just made it look good enough. Time to get the radiator back on. All right, all the belts are on. Got the radiator in. Got the fan on with an adequate amount of bolts. That's all you need. Time to hook this coolant pipe up, put the box in, the bottle, put a battery in, and get her bled. One trick for bleeding is remove this bolt here. That's the highest point of the coolant system, and that'll bleed a lot easier. All right, that's everything together except for the fan shroud, just in case, and the battery mount, just in case. Yeah, so I'm gonna, oh crap, I put this on before getting to that bolt thing. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. All right, so I didn't even need it to bleed. I just opened this guy up and poured it until it came out of there. Then I closed it, and it's perfect. I'm gonna pop that cap on and then fill that guy up. All right, and that is the job completed. Let's give it a start and see how she sounds. Best of luck if you are about to do this. Give yourself time. It took me about 5 days on and off working on this to get it done, and the longer you take, the more patience you have, the less risk of screwing it up. So, yep, good luck.